What is going on, you stallions and stallionettes? AK40 Kevin here in the Gamer Heaven. So I busted out my shovel. I was doing my daily digging for gaming news to share with the stable here at Gamer Heaven. And I pondered across a little article here about a $10,000 Atari game, very rare, only 13 of them in circulation, that was thrown into a big cardboard box and donated at a local Goodwill thrift store. And that kind of got me thinking that a lot of gamers out there, in fact, I would say the vast majority, do not know the exact value of the games, accessories, and consoles that they own, especially if it is a more retro, vintage, or nostalgia console. So I'm going to go ahead and remedy that today. I'm going to share this article with you guys and exactly what game it was and why it was worth so much and how to actually appraise or find the value of your games, consoles, and accessories. Let's do it. The article. Let's not like do it, but let's get down to business. Already gonna share my screen over here. I have this article pulled up. The headline reads, Goodwill worker finds rare $10,000 Atari video game in a box of donations. And this is actually from Fox News. So generally when I share news on this channel, it's from a gaming outlet like Kotaku or Press Square or PC Mag or something like that. But whenever a mainstream news outlet gets a hold of some gaming news, you know it's an absolutely boomerific article. So a Goodwill location in Tejas recently discovered that a box of old video games had received as a donation contained an incredibly rare and valuable Atari game. Fortunately, the worker handled this particular box. He recognized that he had found something special. Goodwill confirmed to Fox News that it is a rare copy of the Atari game Air Raid. The game cartridge is unusual looking due to its T-shaped handle. So generally this is what Atari 2600 cartridges look like, and this is what the later Atari systems cartridges look like. Juarez's father, Juarez, a video game aficionado, a connoisseur of cooch, if you will, was able to help identify the game. He busted out his monocle, did a little detective work. So you got to keep in mind when you're reading this article that this is written by a non-gaming outlet, Fox News. This is boomer mainstream legacy media. So you're not going to get that deep in the weeds jargon that we're used to when it comes to gaming. There is no way to know if the person donating the game actually knew how valuable it was. I'm sure they did not. I'm sure this person, even if they're probably extremely wealthy, wouldn't donate this to a Goodwill, considering Goodwill is generally where you take things that you either want to pass on secondhand or you just don't want anymore and you don't think it holds enough value to sell on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, or eBay. So I'm sure that's what they did. They're just thinking, oh, this is this old console I've had for 30 years. I mean, the Atari 2600 came out in September of 77. So that isn't, what, I'm not good with math. It's like Alexa, how long ago was 1977? That's enough. So that's a 43-year-old console in 6 months. So somebody's like, well, I don't know what this old sack of plastic's worth, and they chuck it in a box. I guarantee you the person that donated this game either did not know that cartridge was in the box, or they had no idea what the value of it was. She did, however, say that it's one of the most valuable items the e-commerce store had handled. So, man, I'm so old that I remember when Goodwill was just a physical location you would go to get like Hawaiian and tie-dye shirts for office parties and whatnot. Now it's an e-commerce platform, which makes sense, but one of the most valuable. What kind of high ticket items are people donating? You know what I mean? Like, bring it over here. I will take it. If you got some expensive shit, I'm broke as a joke. I'll take your stuff. Primarily the reason I'm broke as a joke is because I buy a bunch of retro and vintage consoles to do builds for you guys on this channel. But it's worth every goddamn second of it, let me tell you. The game was listed on the site. After being listed for just 7 days, it sold for $10,590. So that is a lot, but that's not a crazy amount when you look at vintage and retro consoles, games, and accessories, especially if they are VGA graded. Which, by the way, I am going to do another video probably tomorrow, giving you guys a step-by-step guide on how to get your game items, whether it's games, consoles, or accessories, how to get them Video Game Authority or VGA graded. Drastically increases the value with a couple caveats. So stay tuned for that video. Go ahead and tallywhack that subscribe button while you're at it. You take care of me, I'm gonna take care of you real good. With the $10K earned from the sale of this item, Goodwill can provide day habilitation services for 1 year for one adult with disabilities, or provide 20 homeless individuals with job placement services and community resources, or help 10 at-risk youth earn their GED and a paycheck at the same time. So that is awesome. Super positive to see the video game industry or community, even though this person had no idea what they were donating, they just thought it was a hunk of plastic in their garage. It is still good to see the video game realm contribute to something positive like that, something HIV positive. So now that we got the article out of the way, how do you actually appraise your games? Well, the easiest way is this website right here. I discovered this a few months back. It's awesome. I use this every time I'm shopping for a new retro console or games. I cross-check this with a couple of other resources, which I will mention, but this is primarily how I get my pricing. So you can browse by console, or you can just type in exactly what you want. So that game that sold was what, Air Raid? So sure enough, click on Air Raid right here. Loosely, meaning it's just like this, like, you know, just how they found it in a cardboard box or whatever. The average price it's worth is $5,700. Complete, meaning it is in the box with the instruction manual, any other documentation that came with it originally, basically everything that it came with. However, it has been open, but everything was still neatly packaged in the box. $32,000. But again, they found a loose one. New package, one's never been sold in new condition, but that would mean that it is sealed in its original factory cellophane. And then graded over here, which means it is VGA graded. If this was VGA graded at an 85 or even a 90 or a 95, which they consider mint condition, that would easily be, I'm gonna just throw a number out there that I think would be valid, between $60,000 and $80,000 if it was in box, sealed, and VGA graded. I know that just blew your tits back, but go ahead and put them back in the holster, stuff them back in the bra, because I got more for you. So this isn't just for games. If you are looking for a specific console, for example, let's say you want a PlayStation original system. You might be going to your local thrift store, or maybe you found one at a yard sale or something, and you know, you want to find out how much it's worth, right? All right, so you scroll down here. It's down a ways. PlayStation's confusing. But you got your system right here. You have PlayStation, which is the North American version. Then you have PAL, which is going to be the European version. There's also a Japanese version too, which technically was the original, as it was released a year prior in Japan, prior to North America and Europe, 94 and 95. But we'll do the American PlayStation right here. And you can see, you know, loosely, they're cheap. I mean, I got one sitting back there that I got for free. Loose, they're average about $35. Complete, new, you know, complete with all the original documentation and styrofoam, $60. Brand new sealed, about $150. Graded, about $640. So the PlayStation is not a very expensive console to collect for. That actually extends to its games as well. Of course, there's going to be some rare and obscure titles and whatnot, some collectors, but... or if you get something that's graded or autographed by a member of the dev team or something, that's going to increase the value, obviously. But as a blanket statement, the PlayStation Original is not a very expensive console to collect for by any means. Now, here's another site. I don't like this one nearly as much. I don't think this is accurate because it doesn't pull from as much data. It doesn't have as many sales to base its prices on, but this is called Game Value Now. So what you can kind of do is cross-check with this platform, this website as well. They're saying loose, this is worth $2,000. We know that's not the case because they sold theirs for $10,000 in 7 days. So again, I don't like this site that much, but here's another resource for you. These will be linked in the description below. So anytime, so if you're going to go through your collection and try and figure out what you have, so go ahead and tighten up your laces because I'm going to take it a step further. In fact, quite a big leap, but it's not going to be in this episode, in this video here, but I am going to do a separate buyer's guide for each of the retro consoles, what games are rare, what accessories are rare, what versions of each console are rare, because there's 3 versions of the Sega Genesis over here, 3 versions of the NES, technically, if you're going to include the Famicom, which is the Japanese version. There is literally dozens of different variations of the N64 back there. I actually have 2 in my closet right here waiting to be unboxed and showcased on the channel, and we're doing a build on one of those as well. The PlayStation Original or PS1, there's 4 versions, and within those versions, there's over 200 different motherboard revisions that Sony made, so different versions within those. So we're going to get real in the weeds in some of these videos, and I'm going to do a buyer's guide for each of these consoles. So if you are in the market for something that you grew up with, like me personally, I grew up with a Sega Genesis and a PlayStation Original and a Nintendo Game Boy, the DMG or the Dot Matrix Game Boy, the green screen one. So it's nostalgic for me to own those consoles. So maybe you're collecting games that you had as a kid, or maybe you're just building a collection for your own personal needs, or you're flipping. You're trying to buy and sell retro games and consoles. This is a good this website that I showed you guys is a good resource for you. And then again, those buyer guides that I'm going to make for you are going to be great because they're specifically targeting one console and getting real deep with that one, not massaging the surface. I am going as deep as I can to where I don't have anything left, so to speak. I'm chewing on nicotine gum, by the way. I'm trying to quit vaping, and I'm a heavy Heavy vapor. In fact, they call me Darth Vapor at work. Always sucking on the fruit flute. That's a word for a vaporizer. Get it in the bloodstream. Also have a patch on my shoulder too, so I get a double dose of the nicotine. That is going to do it, guys. This video did run longer than I expected, but I do not feel bad and I will not apologize because this is very, very good, valuable information and quality content that I do think is going to be received by a lot of you quite well, because a lot of you probably didn't know this website existed or you had no idea how to appraise the games in your collection. And I would hate to see one of you guys go to your local thrift store or flea market or have a damn garage sale because your wife is bitching at you to clear out the garage and get rid of something that could potentially pay for your kids' college tuition and got that rack that your wife's been begging for. And I don't mean that spice rack for the kitchen either. I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be tomorrow because you already know I upload daily. Peace. You know, like, subscribe, share with your mother's cousin's brother twice removed.